In this video, we're diving into a breakthrough study that's turning decades of kidney diet advice upside down. One simple change slowed the progression of kidney disease by 5 times, and scientists are crediting a bold twist on the keto diet. Forget quinoa salads and broccoli stews. This approach helped patients slash CKD progression by 500% and cut proteinuria to 1/3 of previous levels. How? The researchers ignored every official guideline, went completely rogue, and designed a diet so extreme it makes regular keto look like a government-approved food pyramid. And instead of losing their licenses, they published a paper basically saying, everything you've been told is wrong. Today, I'll break down exactly what changes this means for real-world kidney diets. No boring lectures, just practical advice you can use right now. But before we jump in, hit that like and subscribe button, because the big question is, are CKD patients getting the right amount of protein? First, you need to see what the current recommendations actually are. Only then will you understand just how game-changing this new approach really is. There are 3 main levels of daily protein intake your doctor might recommend. At the top of the list are dialysis patients, who get the most protein, about 1 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of ideal body weight per day. To reach that target, I typically recommend a mostly plant-based diet with a few low-phosphorus animal proteins like egg whites, a little chicken breast, or some white fish. Dialysis patients need more protein because the treatment itself removes nitrogen waste from the blood. In the middle are CKD patients with diabetes, who are restricted to 0.6 to 0.8 grams per kilogram. For them, it's plant-based only. No eggs, no fish, and even legumes, seeds, and nuts are cut way back to control protein intake. At the strictest end are non-dialysis CKD patients without diabetes. They're usually kept under 0.6 grams per kilogram, which means not only avoiding legumes and nuts but also swapping out some grains for special low-protein medical foods designed for kidney patients. But here's the thing, all of this might be about to change. New research is rewriting the rulebook for renal diets. And one 2025 study might be the turning point. In a meta-analysis of 1,596 CKD patients across all stages, with and without diabetes, researchers found that a radically different approach could significantly improve GFR and lower creatinine. The surprising part? They called it the keto diet. But don't panic, this wasn't the bacon and butter keto you've seen online. In this case, keto meant a very low-protein diet supplemented with keto analogues. Half of the patients followed standard dietary guidelines, the other half used this keto analog protocol, and the results were jaw-dropping. This extreme low-protein keto plan slowed CKD progression 5-fold and could delay dialysis by years. It's so strict that even thinking about a steak feels like a cheat day, but it works. And it could mean the end of our old protein rules for CKD forever. So why are they calling it the keto diet, you ask? Technically, I'd call this approach the supplemented very low protein diet, SVLPD for short. But let's be honest, keto diet sounds catchier. Or maybe these researchers have reached that rare level of authority where you can name your kid Apple or XA12 and everyone just nods like it's normal. The takeaway is crystal clear. Here's what the researchers actually wrote: the absence of an appropriate low-protein diet, LPD, in individuals with CKD may lead to end-stage renal disease. Translation? Hey Jack, put down that steak or I'll have a fistula in your arm before you can say David. Consider this your final warning. In just a few short years, we've gone from the polite, maybe cut back on red meat, to full-blown nuclear-level anti-protein policy. And I've been reading scientific papers for decades. This is the first time I've seen a study that basically threatens the patient. At this rate, don't be surprised if your doctor's office gets protein-sniffing dogs and a SWAT team for people caught smuggling beef jerky. Bottom line? This massive meta-analysis shows that if you have CKD diabetes or not, you should be eating less protein per day than a vegan rabbit. Unless, of course, you'd like a front row seat in the dialysis chair. In a moment, we'll go over exactly which foods are safe under these new standards. Apparently, these researchers think I've been going way too soft. Forget gently suggesting quinoa salads. I should have been karate chopping burgers out of people's hands from day one. And maybe they're right. Maybe if I'd been stricter, fewer patients would have gotten anywhere near dialysis. I mean, should I go full Sergeant Hartman patients? What is that? What is that? Open your mouth. Here's a little secret. I don't actually follow the old rules either. My method is different because screaming at people until they give up everything they love isn't my style. I start gradually, getting patients to cut protein as much as they reasonably can without going full nuclear on their diet. Why? Because small, manageable changes actually work. I've seen patients improve their kidney function just by taking the first step. And seeing even a small improvement in your lab numbers? That's way more motivating than any drill sergeant speech I could give. But hey, if another study like this comes out, who knows? I might just snap and go full Sergeant Hartman on you. What is that? What is that? Open your mouth. No kidney left behind, right? What to eat to cut protein even further? Alright, we've covered the science. Now let's talk about turning it into real-world results. How do you go from a regular low-protein diet to a very low-protein diet? This section is for those of you already on the right track but ready to take your kidney numbers to the next level. Because, honestly, if you're still regularly eating animal protein, oh, you little maggot. You make me want to vomit. The goal is simple. Cut your protein intake as much as humanly possible, then cut it a little more. The alternative? End-stage renal disease. Dialysis. And dialysis, trust me, is about as exciting as watching paint dry in slow motion. So here are some kidney-friendly, diabetes-safe foods that not only help protein but also pack other major health benefits. Take a screenshot if you want to save this list. Cucumber, basically crunchy water, 0 carbs, 0 protein, low potassium, just fiber to keep you full. Celery, low calorie, mild diuretic properties, great for flushing toxins. Eggplant, rich in antioxidants to protect kidney tissue. Jicama, a sweet, juicy potato alternative with lower potassium and fewer carbs. Berries, especially strawberries and blueberries, loaded with antioxidants that protect your kidneys better than your insurance plan. If your goal is protein reduction, and it should be, these are safe for everyone, including diabetes patients. But here's the tricky part. If you've already been on a strict plant-based diet for years, no eggs since 2011, how do you cut protein even more? By making smart swaps. On the left of my table are plant foods that, while healthy, are relatively high in protein. On the right are their lower protein, kidney-approved replacements. A few examples: legumes, green beans. Legumes are high in protein. Green beans give you the texture without the protein load. Soy and nut milk, rice milk. Soy and nut milks can have over 5 g protein per cup, too high for a VLPD. Whole grains, brown rice. Whole grains are healthy, but for very low protein goals, brown rice is safer. Mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, lower protein, nutrient dense, and great in cooking. And then there are special medical foods, low or zero protein pasta, bread, biscuits designed for kidney patients to help maintain calories without harming kidneys. If you also want to cut calories while slashing protein, try shirataki noodles. Made from konjac root, they're low-calorie, low-protein, and far less processed than regular egg pasta, perfect for CKD patients who also need to lose weight. Now, do you really need protein to survive? Not if you're taking keto analogues, the supplement used in the study we discussed earlier. These provide all the essential amino acids your body needs without the kidney-damaging waste from real protein. So if someone asks, how will I keep my muscles without protein? Keto analogues. How will I survive without protein? Keto analogues. My doctor from 1937 swears by the food pyramid. Keto analogues. I love these little pills. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and God bless.